Okay, today I want to go over the part 2 of your social media plan. But before I do that, I just want to add some notes to those of you who turned in your part 1s. And I got to say, overall, they were really great. You guys did a great job. A few of you, we want to make sure that you look at those sample plans because that part or your whole plan should be written like you're going to give it to a client. Okay? Don't write it like you're answering an assignment for me or something like that. So go through and look at the sample plans because most of them did a really good job of, looking like a proposal. Okay. The other thing too, and I noticed this on a few of you guys wrote it down, is make sure that you get lots of numbers. Okay. Look to see how many followers they had. Most of you did that, but look to see how many posts do they have, how many posts do they have by others, how many shares, how many likes, how many retweets, all of those different things. Because when we get to part 3 of our plan, we're going to have to measure or set there so they can use it, set up some sort of plan for measuring the success of this. And one way we measure success of the social media part, at least, is through an increase in follows and likes and shares and those kind of things. Okay, that's in the end. When we get to part 3, we're going to talk a little more about that's not really the goal. The goal is not social media. The goal is to increase donations, to increase volunteers, to increase income for sales or whatever thing like that. But we have to measure our success for our social media, and we do that with likes and follows and retweets. So for your part 1, go back through, fix the things that I made a note on, start finding some of those numbers. If you have a lot, if your Facebook it has a lot of posts and stuff, just look at the last month. Okay, just look at that, or if it's 3 months, whatever. Find some sort of way to measure it. Okay. One of you, poor April, she's got someone who has nothing out there. So she's going to have to start from scratch. So what I suggested to her was to look at some other ones that are online. She's doing group homes. To look at some other ones that are online to get ideas. They may not be competitors because both her client and her competitor have nothing in social media. So I suggested that she go and look at examples from other ones, even if they're not competitors. That's certainly something you can do as well if you want to. So yes, go back through part 1, redo the things that I asked you to do because you're going to turn in part 1 when you turn in part 2. We're building a plan, okay? So fix that part 1 when you turn it back in. Another thing is too, take a look because if you have lots of numbers in that, don't write them out in sentences. Try to maybe just pull those out into bulleted lists, okay, or a table or something like that, but at least a bulleted list. Because when you write them in a paragraph, it's kind of hard for the client to go through and pick out those numbers. Okay, so go through and kind of fix up that part 1 and do that. Now let's talk a little bit about part 2. And there are basically, I'm sorry, I had some notes so I don't forget these things. There are basically 3 terms that I want you to be very, very familiar with for this part 3 of your plan. Okay, one of them is called engagement. And we've already sort of gone over that in part 1 in the readings that you did. Okay, but this is the term. These are 3 terms that if you want to do a job in social media, you've got to have these down. Okay, engagement is the idea that you're not just on Facebook spreading the message. Okay, that is not really true good social media. Good social media comes when they are liking or sharing your content. Okay, that's engagement. It goes from, on a continuum, if you will, from someone just liking your post to commenting on your post to sharing your post to eventually what we call user-generated content. Okay, and user-generated content is the ultimate in engagement. Some great examples from past campaigns is Sonic. You know, the 2 guys that are in the car at the drive-up. Okay, when those first started coming out on television, people, Sonic fans, started making their own videos, and some of them were sort of parodies, but they were making their own videos. And instead of kind of trying to shut that down or ignore that, Sonic used it to their advantage and started creating this contest to see who could come up with the best parody advertisement. So that's creating user-generated content is a great form of engagement because now you got people talking about you. I think it was Simone, I think, who's doing Starbucks, mentioned in hers that the hashtag Starbucks is a huge sort of status symbol. And so that's user-generated content. So that's your ultimate goal, okay? But engagement of any kind, even likes or shares, is going to be a great way to get some attention, get your awareness out there. There you go, brand awareness for your client. Okay, so understand engagement. It's when the user starts participating in the social media, not just the person who's putting it out there. Okay, another term that I wanted you to be familiar with is called leveraging existing behaviors. Leveraging existing behaviors. This will come in very handy as you start to work on part 2. Okay? In part 2, you're going to come up with some strategies and some tactics for carrying out what your goal is. And a number of you ended your first part with a goal, and I love that. It's like I don't get that very much. A lot of people start their second one with that, but you want to end your first part with a goal. Now repeat it as sort of in a singular line when you do part 2, but I love that you had that, okay? But this is a way that you can use a tactic, and I'm sorry, I hope you can see that there's no classroom in Wells that does not have a image on the screen there. So it's called leveraging existing behaviors. What that means is, what are people currently doing in social media that you can use to your advantage? For example, I'm going to use Alexandra. She's doing a sunglasses or an eyeglasses website, okay? And they're trying to reach a different audience. They're trying to reach an older audience, okay? Because right now they're pretty good with the younger audience, okay? So they're trying to reach an older audience. So where is that older audience at, okay? The older audience is going to be in Facebook. So they're going to need to leverage that behavior in order to be successful. They can't start a campaign for people over 40 on Instagram. That is not where people over 40 are, okay? So even, people younger than you are not on Twitter. They're on Snapchat, or they're on all kinds of different ones out there. So you have to be always on top of who your audience is and where they're at and what they're doing, okay? Now, if you're trying to reach a younger audience, okay, for example, we did the Historical Society last year as a client, and they have mostly older people coming in, and they really want to have a younger audience coming in, okay? Maybe college-age students that are interested in history to volunteer and do things, okay? Where are college-age kids, okay? They're going to be on Twitter, they're going to be on Instagram. And think about the visual possibilities of something like Instagram and how it can contribute to the place where you work. Another one was they were trying to get, we used Big Brothers and Big Sisters, okay? And they were trying to get more men, okay? Well, one of the students proposed Pinterest, okay? And I love Pinterest. It's probably where you're going to find me a lot. But Pinterest is not where the men are, okay? So that really wasn't leveraging existing behavior. So that's what it means. So are they taking pictures? Then use that to your advantage. Make sure you have lots of snapshots on your Facebook or your Instagram or wherever you're at, okay? Leveraging existing behaviors. Very, very important to know who your client is and where they are, okay? And then the last term that I want you to be familiar with ties in very, very well with part 2 as well. Content creation. This is a term that is becoming quite the buzzword in social media over the last few years, okay? Content creation. What that means is they are needing more and more people to create content for businesses to put out there in social media. It's not about sales, it's about educating people. It's about giving them what they need, okay? For example, if you're a lawn and garden company, and you've got a sale on grass seed or whatever, that's not what I really want to see in social media. What I want to know is, how do I make sure that my grass doesn't die after I see it? Or what can I do to during a harsh winter to rejuvenate my grass or something like that, okay? The cool thing, for any of you journalism majors, okay, maybe you're in multimedia journalism and you don't really want to write for a newspaper, but you like writing stories. This is a huge area for you. I constantly press this to my journalism students now. Content creation. More and more businesses are starting to hire them to put the word out there. Now, I know it sounds a little like public relations, which is what it is, but the businesses want true, accurate stories. It's not just that you're going to try to, buffalo the public about what they do or do not do well at lawn and garden service or whatever, but it's really creating stories and things people need, okay? And actually, I just thought of one more thing you need to know in this, okay? And that's called value exchange, okay? Value exchange. What that means is you have to give me something that makes it worth my time to participate, okay? You have to, like I said, don't just tell me you're having a sale on seed. Tell me how I can make sure that this grass seed flourishes, okay? You can include in there that the sale is going on now, but write me a story. Give me helpful, useful information, okay? If you want me to create videos for you, okay, what's the value exchange? One time we had Campfire Girls, or Campfire, whatever it is, International, Campfire International, and we were trying to get more volunteers. So the clients, or the group suggested to the client that they do testimonials. They get people to do testimonials about their camp time. That's a great way to create user-generated content. And it has a value exchange that has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the idea that people had such a good time they want to share, okay? And the people that are thinking about going to value exchanges being able to see what other people's experiences were, okay? So it's not always a money exchange. It's a what kind of content can you give me that's worth my time, okay? Polls, quizzes, and those kind of things, the reason we love them is because we get to participate in them. And there's a value exchange, and in the end, we can see how close we are to everybody else, okay? Remember, you know, guys see those things on Facebook where you're like, which Disney princess are you, right? The value exchange is to go, yes, that's right, or that's totally off, okay, or something like that. There's some fun and games in that. So content creation and value exchange. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about part 2. And again, if you look at these sample plans, you're going to see this is what they do. Okay, here's what you're going to want. You're going to want to repeat your goal, okay, but making it a nice, manageable sentence or two. So that's your goal. Okay, I'm sorry, this is so light. Goal, okay. Then, and that goal should say nothing about social media. Your goal is not to create a Facebook page. Your goal is not to create a presence on social media. The goal is to get more volunteers, let's say. Okay, I'm going to use that as my example, the historical study. Their goal is to get more people to volunteer their time at the Nottoway Historical Society. Okay, what is one strategy? This is our next step. After goal, we have our strategy. What's a strategy that we can use to get more people to volunteer? Okay, well, what gets you excited about volunteering for something? Okay, for me, it's the idea of helping people. Okay, so the strategy is that to get more people involved, to get more people to volunteer, the strategy would be to make them aware of the joys and benefits, if you will, of volunteering. So our strategy, I would write that out. The strategy then is to find ways to show them the joys and benefits of volunteering. Okay? Then we have a tactic, and our tactic is the social media. So our goal is to get more volunteers. Our strategy is to show them the benefits and joys of volunteering their time. Social media tactic would be YouTube videos, a Pinterest board showing all the different activities, anything like that, those different kinds of things, okay? So we don't talk about social media until we get to here. So really this class, a lot of this class is about marketing, okay? So we have a goal, get more volunteers. Strategy, let them see the benefits and joys of volunteering. The tactic is to have a Pinterest board that shows all the different volunteers doing different things at the Historical Society, or a YouTube video, or whatever, okay? Now, you should really have just one goal, but you want to have multiple strategies, because that's one way to get people to volunteer. What's another way to get people to volunteer? Maybe having an end-of-the-year volunteer awards ceremony of some sort, okay? So maybe that's a strategy, and then the social media tactic would be use Facebook events to invite people and that kind of thing, okay? So really one goal with a variety of strategies, okay? Now, if you have a really specific goal and you can only really think of one strategy to how to carry that out, then have a couple of goals, because you want to give me some stuff there that I can grade. Give me enough stuff, okay? So, again, you're not talking about social media until you get to tactic, okay? Last thing then on your social media plan for part 2 is you need to create that content. If you go to the social media plan tab, okay, and you click on social media plan part 2, you will see some listings of information there, okay? One of them is a link to the engagement readings that are under the week 2 for your readings, okay? There's lots of good examples in there, different campaigns, how to write content, ideas for content, things like that. Also on that social media plan part 2 tab, or link, I'm sorry, under the social media plan, if you click on social media plan and then social media plan part 2, you're also going to see that I put up a Facebook simulator and a Twitter simulator. These are really cool. You can go in there and create fake Facebook posts and fake Twitter posts. Then just take a screen grab of them and stick them in your document just like you would a picture, okay? Now, you can also, let's say that you find a cool YouTube video and you want to suggest that, but I'm not going to make you go out and create a YouTube video. You can have a link, maybe a screenshot and a link there, and explain to the client, here's a sample YouTube video that I think it would be a good idea for us to do for your campaign, okay? So you need to create content. There should be at least 2 posts for every strategy that you have, okay? You can use Photoshop or InDesign or something to create them if you want to, okay? Do a screenshot and white out the words and make your own or something, but you've got to create content for this, okay? And so it's all explained when you go to social media tab, and then under the social media plan tab, you're going to see part 2. Click on that, and all of that's outlined on that page, okay? As well as the assignment sheet. It's due Thursday, next Thursday, a week from today, okay? So look over those, look at the sample plans, go through all of that that I have listed under Social Media Plan Part 2, and be sure to get back to me if you have any questions, okay? Once again, I'm serious. You guys, I had some of the best Part 1s that I've seen in a long time. So keep that good work up, okay? So, and if you didn't do so well, look at the sample plans, okay? So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.